In this video, I'd like to take a look at a problem where an object is moving and experiencing a drag force and see how that relates to something we call terminal speed. And this example is going to be a simplified example just to begin to understand things like drag force and terminal speed. So here we have a problem which reads, an object with a mass m experiences a drag force Fd that's equal to c times v squared as it falls to the ground. C is a constant and v is the speed of the object. We're asked to derive an expression for Vt, which is the object's terminal speed. So maybe you've heard that as an object falls, it accelerates due to the acceleration due to gravity, and it speeds up and speeds up. But because objects also experience a drag force, eventually they reach a terminal speed, a speed at which they stop accelerating and continue to move at a constant speed. So we're going to talk about that just a little bit. So the first thing I'd like to do is draw a free body diagram of this object. And typically we think of the object in a falling object as only experiencing one force, the force of gravity, which points downward, which we sometimes label just mg. But this object also experiences another force, a sort of resistive force due to its interaction with the atmosphere and due to its physical size, and that force is going to oppose the motion of an object, and so that force will point upwards, and we will label that force Fd. And so these are the two forces that the object is experiencing, and what I would like to point out to you is that initially, the free body diagram should be drawn something like this, where the gravitational force vector looks something like that, and maybe the drag force vector looks something like this. So let's say the object has just been falling for just a moment. We know that that drag force is proportional to the square of the velocity. So as the object speeds up, the drag force is going to increase. And so initially, when the object isn't moving very fast, the drag force will not be very large. And what you'll notice is that the sum of those two forces, the net force acting on the object, is going to point downward and would be represented by the difference between those two vectors. And so maybe the net force points downward, something like that. But a moment in time later, so sometime later, we know that these force vectors are going to equal out. As the object accelerates, under the influence of this net force that I've drawn in yellow, that net force is going to continually accelerate the object, speeding it up. And that increase in speed is going to increase the drag force acting on the object until we get to the point where the weight of the object and the drag force acting on the object are equal. And this is kind of like the free body diagram that I drew initially, but I wanted to show you what happens initially and then at some time later. So we reach a point where those two forces are equal to one another. And so the object's acceleration gradually decreases because the net force is gradually decreasing to a point where the net force becomes 0. And once the net force becomes 0, then we know the object stops accelerating, and the object then moves at a constant speed, and we call that the terminal speed or terminal velocity. And so when I'm asked to find the terminal speed of an object, really I'm looking for the speed of the object when the net force becomes 0. So I could write that in the following way. I could say that the terminal speed occurs when the net force is equal to 0. Or in equation form, I could write, I know that Newton's second law says the net external force acting on an object is equal to its mass times its acceleration. And so if the net force is equal to 0, I could write for this object, I could write this as Fd minus mg is equal to 0. And since I have written the Newton's second law equation for the instance that the net force is equal to 0, I know that when I substitute in the expression for the drag force CV squared, I know that the speed that occurs at that, when that is occurring, that the net force is 0, is the terminal speed. So I'll write Vt squared minus mg is equal to 0. And so if I add mg over to the other side, I have c Vt squared is equal to mg. And so I can solve that for Vt, and I get that the terminal speed of this object is equal to the square root of its weight divided by c, which is some constant. And so I've simplified this problem to just say the drag force depends on some constant in the speed, and that constant might depend on things like the medium that the object is falling through. So here the atmosphere, it might depend on properties of the atmosphere, and it might depend on things like the size and the shape of the object as it falls. But here we're wrapping that all into one constant, a capital letter C. So the terminal speed will depend on that constant, and it will depend on the mass of the object in this sort of fashion. And one last thing that I'd like to think a little bit about is if you were to take an object like this and you were to graph its velocity, if you were to graph its velocity as a function of time, what would that look like? And here we're not really going to be too careful. We're just going to draw a simple little sketch of what this might look like. And so initially, let's say this object was dropped off the top of a very tall building. The object's velocity initially would be 0 because it wouldn't be moving. And then initially the drag force would be the smallest, and the gravitational force vector never changes, right? It's always equal to mg. But due to the fact that the speed was very small, the net force acting on the object would be the largest. Initially, you could say that the object experiences an acceleration of g. So really, maybe this line starts off with a slope, right? This is a velocity versus time graph, so maybe this line starts off with a slope that's equal to approximately g, or 9.8. But then, as the speed increases, the drag force increases, which causes the net force to decrease. And as the net force decreases, then the acceleration will also decrease. And so this slope is going to decrease over time. And eventually, we should see the slope of this graph start to taper off and approach some value. And here in this problem, we're calling that value Vt, so the terminal speed of the object, right? That should become asymptotic and eventually become Vt, whatever the terminal speed is for this object.